Greater Brisbane is now in lockdown for 3 days with masks mandatory for all activities. Authorities clamped down hard and fast after a case of the highly infectious UK strain of COVID-19 had been out in the community for 5 days. The announcement sent hordes to shopping centres in a panic buying frenzy.
Word spread rapidly throughout Greater Brisbane. Thousands lined up to prepare for strict new measures to stop an infectious new strain.
Greater Brisbane will be entering a 3-day lockdown.
For the first time in Queensland, masks are mandatory.
I'm asking everyone, if when you walk out your front door, put a mask on.
Authorities aren't taking any chances after they identified 768 people who came into contact with Queensland's positive case of the UK strain of COVID-19. 79 of those were close contacts of the cleaner in her 20s who worked at hotel quarantine.
It'll be too late if on Monday I stand up here in front of you and say we've had 10 cases and they've been out infectious in the community, infecting people. We can't put it back in the box.
For the next 3 days, non-essential businesses like hairdressers, nail salons, cinemas and gyms will have to close. Community sport is also off the cards. Restaurants and cafes can stay open, but for takeaway only. Weddings have been limited to 10 people and funerals to 20. You will only be allowed to leave your house for work, essential shopping, to provide care or to exercise, and police will be checking for compliance this weekend.
We want to use discretion, but at the end of the day, if we can't get compliance through any other means, it may be a necessary evil, I suppose, to actually issue infringement notices.
The lockdown will be in place until 6 p.m. on Monday and applies to Brisbane, Ipswich, Logan, Moreton Bay and the Redlands local government areas. The Health Minister says unprecedented action is necessary to control a highly infectious strain running rampant in the United Kingdom.
38% of all of the positive cases in the United Kingdom have occurred only in the last month, and that is because of this new variant.
People who have been in the Greater Brisbane area since the 2nd of January and have now travelled elsewhere will need to isolate where they are for 3 days. The Northern Territory, ACT, South Australia and Tasmania have declared Greater Brisbane a hotspot, introducing a mandatory 2-week quarantine. New South Wales and Victoria have asked recent travellers from Greater Brisbane to isolate until Monday, and WA has reinstated its hard border with Queensland.
Our message to Australians who are in those areas is stay where you are. Don't go anywhere. Don't go home to another state or any other part of your state.
9 other cases were recorded overnight, all in hotel quarantine. So far, no cases have been linked to the hotel cleaner, but authorities hope people will continue to flock to testing clinics just like this one behind me, so that they can find every possible case linked to this potential outbreak. Jessica Rendell, ABC News, Brisbane.
News of the 3-day lockdown also sparked a rush to the altar. Some couples tied the knot to avoid restrictions that cap the number of wedding guests. With Greater Brisbane residents ordered to stay home, businesses, including accommodation providers, are counting the cost.
A walk down the aisle that became a dash before lockdown. This couple was supposed to tie the knot tomorrow, but news of the restrictions saw plans rushed forward.
Pretty frantic, I guess. Pretty disappointed, but I mean, nothing's going to stop us.
I have a phone call. We're doing this today. So in 3 hours, I did it.
At the airport, some Brisbane residents' holiday plans were grounded.
We're sitting on the plane just refreshing the Tasmanian government's travel advice, and literally at like 9:43 or something, the advice flipped over and it said all of Brisbane is a high risk. So we got off the plane.
A blow for this group, but there's no anger.
You book a holiday in these times knowing that something might happen, and it did.
Got a couple of nice Tasmanian bottles at home, so we'll probably quietly enjoy those and have a quiet weekend.
Some people took to the highways trying to leave Greater Brisbane before lockdown. On the Sunshine Coast, accommodation providers were flooded with cancellations. This Mooloolaba resort had 30 by noon.
Once again, there's no certainty in the market. People don't have the confidence to travel anymore. So, you know, it's just another blow for businesses on the Sunshine Coast.
Long lines snaked outside supermarkets with waits of up to an hour.
Pretty nervous. News broke this morning while feeding the little one, and so thought that we should get on down.
It's surreal seeing the line-up.
I'm not too worried. I think depending on how the lockdown goes, we might be able to sort of escape the worst of it, I think.
The message from authorities: don't panic buy, with supermarkets remaining open during the lockdown. However, Coles and Woolworths have both imposed restrictions for staple items. Kate McKenna, ABC News.
Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk joins us. Now, Premier, we know how fast this mutant strain can spread, so was the lockdown decision easy to make?
I took the advice of the Chief Health Officer, and it was endorsed by the AHPPC, or the Federal Chief Health Officers as well, that we need to go very hard and very quickly when it comes to this most contagious strain, the UK strain, that we have in our community. We've got that cleaner who tested positive, so we've decided to go hard and go early with the 3-day lockdown in the Greater Brisbane region. So we're asking people to look at it as a long weekend, to stay at home, to stay safe, and if everyone does the right thing, hopefully there'll be no more community transmission of this this particular strain of virus.
And Premier, how disappointed are you with the panic buying that we've seen today?
Oh, can I just say to Queenslanders, there is no need to panic buy. We saw these scenes last year. There is plenty of food in Queensland. There is no need to panic buy. The shops will be open on the weekend. You'll be able to get any essential items that you need. You are allowed to go shopping to get those essential items. So please do not panic buy. But when you do go over the weekend, you must wear a mask. Masks will be mandatory.
Yeah, and you've got one there, I understand. You've got a mask ready to go.
Absolutely, I've got it here, Lexi. I'll be wearing it straight after I finish this interview. My staff are wearing it. I'll be wearing it home. And when I leave to come back into work in the morning, I'll be putting that on as soon as I leave the front door. So these masks help prevent the spread of the virus. So we're asking everybody in the Greater Brisbane region to wear those masks when they leave their front door. It is absolutely crucial. But children aged 12 and under do not need to wear masks. That is the advice of the Chief Health Officer, Dr. Jeanette Young.
Now, Premier, concerningly, we've seen roads jammed, people fleeing to the north and south coast to try and skip this lockdown. What have you got to say to them? Because surely not all of them are going to stay put for 3 days if they're in a hotel or near a nice beach.
Well, can I just say to everybody that if you have been in the Greater Brisbane region, we are asking you to stay in your accommodation until Monday at 6 p.m. Then when it is lifted, you'll be able to enjoy your holiday. But we need to do this because if you have the virus and you've travelled to one of those regions, you'll be putting that region into lockdown. So it is absolutely crucial that everyone does the right thing right across the southeast.
So can people be fined if they break these rules?
In the Greater Brisbane area, they can be. If they have gone to the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast, we are asking people to please do not leave their accommodation during this time.
Yeah, appealing for common sense, of course. And just finally, how...
Common sense approach, obviously.
Absolutely. And how worried are you that this could go beyond 3 days? A lot of people are ringing into the ABC and saying that that's their concern and that's why they've bought so much food today.
Yeah, but there's going to be heaps of food on our shelves, so please don't panic buy. We are putting the 3-day period in place. That's what's been recommended to us. We think that is enough time to see if there has been any community transmission of this virus. So my strong message to Queenslanders tonight is if you have any symptoms whatsoever, please go and get tested. There are a lot of clinics set up right across our state, right across the southeast, and hopefully we will contain this virus. So the next 3 days are critical, and I'll be updating Queenslanders every single day, Lexi, to make sure we give them the most up-to-date information. So stay safe, stay strong, and stay calm. We'll get through this together.
Thanks so much for your time, Premier.
Thanks, Lexi.